Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate your comments during our conversation. We ran out of time and didn't have a chance to get to a question that came in. And the question deals with our vulnerable homeless population and what steps is the county taking to try to prevent people from being abused or exploited during this time.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for that question. When you're homeless, whether you're using the shelter system or you're not, and you're on the street 24 hours a day, you are about in the most vulnerable position you could ever be. Whether you're a single adult or a family or a youth, so many times suffering from mental illness, chemical dependency, just really puts you in a position to be preyed upon, to be abused, to be exploited. And so we have contracts with outreach workers, Radius Health, People Incorporated that are on the street every single day and night, making connections, helping ensure folks are safe and know what to do. Ramsey County has some outreach workers. I talked about earlier about how we're utilizing hotel rooms to get folks separated within the shelters. We staff those hotels 24 hours a day with one of the creative uses we've gotten in partnership with the city. Some of the staffing's coming from St. Paul Parks and Rec folks that normally work with community in the rec centers, because the rec centers are closed now. They're helping us staff the hotels and support our homeless population there. Probably the most unsafe situations for our homeless are the encampments, and they get really unsafe as they grow. You'd think as they get bigger, there's safety in numbers. It's actually counterintuitive, because as they grow, they become attractive to the predators, where you've got a large group of vulnerable people concentrated in an area. We're having some big issues right now, just between Dorothy Day Place and the History Center there. We're working with the city to find shelter for those folks there, because it's become extremely unsafe for individuals. And so that, yes, that vulnerable population, our youth, I just need to talk about this a little bit with our youth, are even more vulnerable, because so many times they're forced to trade sex or trade something for shelter or food. They're put in these situations that they just don't have any other choice, and their safety is jeopardized. So well aware of those issues. We have support. We work with community providers. We do the best to protect and ensure safety for individuals that are in these vulnerable situations.
Okay, so there was another question that came in about workforce development and workforce training, and wondered what perhaps Merrick is doing in this area. And what I can say is that we had a number of trainings that were planned before the pandemic. The pandemic forced us to put those on hold because of social distancing. We're working with some other partners to put in place distance learning and to figure out how we can do that. We've been having conversations with Lean Becker from the county and with some of our other partners. An example would be that we're working with Metro State. We've put together a curriculum for those individuals who might be interested in cyber security, as an example. Interestingly enough, because it is around technology, it's easier to provide that kind of learning and training using the internet. We're also working with our partners in the Eastside Employment Exchange, and we've been identifying other needs with them that employers on the East Side have, and so we've been making referrals there. As an example, there's some St. Paul Port Authority tenants and employers that we've been able to place some folks. We also are implementing our integrated program service delivery model, which means that when someone comes to Merrick, for example, if they come to the food shelf, and even if they're receiving their food curbside, we're asking people, if not at that time, we follow up with them, what other needs they may have. And if we see that people have some needs in the area of employment, then we can begin to match them up. But right now, we're still working out, as I think others are, of what does it mean in this new reality to provide training, workforce training, remotely and virtually. And so we're working with others to figure that out. But in the meantime, I would encourage individuals that have an interest or a desire to get some training to contact Merrick, and we'll follow up. And if we can't help you directly, we can work with some of our partners to make referrals as well. There's a number of options.